You're watching News Channel 18 at 6. News from where you live.
When talking about crime in your community, you may hear people say things like, I hope they keep him behind bars. But you probably don't realize how much of your money is being spent to do so. In part 2 of The Cost of Justice, News Channel 18's Kristen Majorano examines just how much of taxpayer money is needed to maintain the county jail and who it's being used to lock up.
With constant talks about a struggling economy, you're not the only one trying to tighten your belt. Tippecanoe County Sheriff Tracy Brown says at the county jail, finances are never far from his mind. According to the county's 2010 budget, the cost of the Tippecanoe County Sheriff's Department and the county jail add up to more than $9 million combined. That's nearly 25% of the entire budget. Brown says more than a third of that amount is directly related to keeping up the jail.
Prior to 2003, we had inmates sleeping on the floors. Operationally, it wasn't a safe environment for staff or for our inmate population. That renovation was completed in earnest in 2003 and boosted our population capacity to 553.
It's not the 500-plus beds that cost the money, but rather the staff. Brown says personnel salaries make up about two-thirds of the cost of the jail, about $2.3 million.
We have 50 corrections officers that work in our jail and 45 police officers.
Add to that $450,000 for food, $345,000 for inmate medical expenses, and $360,000 for utilities and maintenance, and the jail racks up $3.5 million in county expenses. You might be surprised who's being housed on your dime. According to Sheriff Brown, the jail booked just over 6,800 inmates in 2009. About a fourth of those had been wanted on warrant. The second most common offense was public intoxication. Rounding out the top 5 common offenses were theft under a $100,000 value, resisting law enforcement, and body attachment. Only 264 inmates, about 4% of bookings, were actually serving time for a crime committed in the county.
A vast majority of the inmate population that we have in custody amounts to individuals who are on a pretrial status, meaning that the charges have been filed by the prosecutor's office and processed through the courts, and they are just awaiting the disposition of that case.
Brown says it's a priority to keep the streets safe, but he hopes to save money by only holding people who are truly a threat to public safety. Plus, the more beds the jail can keep open, the more money it can bring in. Brown says the Indiana Department of Corrections pays Tippecanoe County $35 a day for each DOC inmate that's housed here. And he's also finding creative ways to save, like with these cans.
Those were going in dumpsters up until about 6 months ago, and our cost for hauling away those items was substantial on a monthly basis. Now those cans on a monthly basis are taken to Oscar Wenski's, and the county receives revenue from the disposal of those cans.
While his department is saving money where it can, Sheriff Brown says he's still short on resources. To compensate, Brown says he's utilizing a volunteer and police services program that allows volunteers to help at crash scenes, public events, and similar situations. He says he is also examining the possibility of creating an officer reserve program. Kristen Majorano, News Channel 18.
For a full breakdown of exactly how your tax dollars are being spent on justice, click on this story on our website, WLFI.com.